Good Saturday night. Yeah.
Happy Saturday Night Live.
The fashion that's going around is the master's back in town. The fashion that's going around. Whoops, outside your head. Whoops, outside your head.
Can't go wrong with a little Steel Pulse.
And feeling chatty.
Boogie to some music. Boogie to some music. Music. Boogie to some music. Boogie to some music. Reggae bandwagon is the fashion that's going around this year. Reggae bandwagon is the fashion that's going around. So when the sun goes down, the little bit shine, darling.
What are you doing? You want to come in? You want to say hi? Say hi. Want to dance with us?
Okay.
Okay, close the door.
I hope you're feeling irie tonight. All right.
That's the vibe here in Huntington Beach. Anyway.
That's a little bit of Steel Pulse for you. If you hadn't heard of Steel Pulse before, you should check them out. They're all right.
Yeah.
They're all right. How's your Saturday night going?
Who's here? Who do we got in the house?
I don't know, but
We got 3 people right now.
hey, I don't know how your day's been going, or thanks for joining us, whoever's here. But if you had a chance to watch what was on TV today, that was spectacular TV. Okay, I don't watch any TV anymore. I don't know who still does. I don't know who still has cable TV. I know that everything's changing right now, and they're trying to do a la carte, and you can get like Disney Channel, or I don't know what the other ones were. But there's a lot of stations that are ditching cable because cable's, it's just all controlled. Where was I going with this? You know what? TV was amazing today.
Television. Watched TV the whole entire day.
Well, it was PBS. Okay, so I listened to PBS come and go. If you had a chance to do that, if you had a chance to listen to the Talking Heads on, for me, it's been a long time since I've listened to PBS, but I listened to Judy Woodruff, that old hag, and I'm sorry, now I'm getting in trouble for calling somebody an old hag.
It's okay.
She's a wreck, okay? I don't care if it was a young, well, take that back. There were 2 women that were also reporting live from the Capitol building. Those young hags, okay, they're a bunch of liars, okay? That's all I can say is when you carry the water of a bunch of liars who brought a fraudulent case before, everything was a sham. We can go into so much detail on how much a sham it was, but if you got a chance to see any of it today, it was a lively.
Let's talk about some of the highlights.
Oh gosh, there's so many
first
highlights.
of all, I woke up to you yelling. You were like yelling at the computer. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Brian, what's wrong?" And you're like,
well,
"These stupid managers or whatever." You were like yelling at them, and you're like, "You're just repeating yourself over and over." And then you were saying you were mad because you said that they were trying to get some evidence in, like last minute, right?
They were sneaking evidence in. Okay. I think it was Raskin. He was speaking, and he started
Raskin
talking.
doctrine.
He was talking about. He was in. This is the closing arguments now. Okay, so if you watch this today, we've listened to 16 hours prior to this, and it wasn't an actual 16 hours because I don't think they used all their time, but in the closing arguments, you're supposed to be wrapping up a case that you presented before the senators, because they're the ones that they're the court. They make all the rules. Actually, it's the House managers who have been making all the rules. Okay, they've been making all the rules to this whole thing. Some of the rules are, and it goes completely against. Okay, I'm not a legal person. I'm a wannabe legal person.
Start with Leahy.
Well,
like from the top.
Starting from who was supposed to be governing this whole thing. It was supposed to be the chief,
Justice.
the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. It was supposed to be Justice Roberts. He was supposed to be where Leahy is sitting right now, presiding over this.
As the judge.
I said govern. He's supposed to be presiding over this. Okay, regardless, he's not there. He's out of there, and they finagled a way to get Leahy to be sitting up there. So you got
who already voted to impeach Trump. He already so you have a completely biased judge off the top. It's like
he's the president. I think he's acting as president right now. He is the president.
Anyway, that's just the beginning of all the things that they tried to they snuck and did.
Okay, first of all, the very first thing they wanted added to there was the testimony, and this was they wanted to add a witness, and that opens the door. That's a really slippery slope. So the House managers, who are the prosecutors in this, who are supposed to have all the evidence, and they were saying throughout the whole entire time, this is an open and shut case. There's so much evidence, but then there was so much innuendo, and they were trying to connect dots the whole entire time. If you watched it, please watch this. I mean, watch it. If you are, I don't know who in their right mind can watch this and go, something's not right here, because the world is watching this. Okay, the world watches TV. They watch American TV. They watch all kinds of TV, and when you watch a legal show, or if you're into these courtroom dramas, I'm sure they show how the court system works. Well, everything that they're doing right now is against every court system that you would ever. I mean, they're presenting zero. First of all, they're still in discovery. They're still trying, because right now when they're speaking out loud and they're figuring out they have no case, they're trying to introduce more evidence. While they were trying to do that, one of the times they did it was when they were talking about, well, we were speaking to Mike Pence last night, and whoa. How do you have a conversation in a closing argument? How do you sit there? Somebody please rewind the tape on this, because after they went into quorum, which was they shut the TV down, they shut the audio down. You could see them, all the attorneys coming at the front and huddling around. After that happened for about 5 minutes, and it was totally wrong. Let me tell you, Judy Woodruff. Okay, when they turned off the audio, the anchor for PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff, sat there and she started talking. She was playing dumb the whole time. She was kind of like, I don't know what that was about. I don't know why. No, you know exactly. If you've watched the hearings, you'd know that they were doing something which was totally legal. How can you, again,
illegal.
Totally illegal. Totally
against the rules
illegal.
of the Constitution.
Well, there's no rules of the Constitution. They don't apply right now. It is the rules of the House managers. Okay, they brought this case. They brought it before the Senate. The Senate actually voted in. There was no way they were going to get the 2/3. Okay, to impeach the president, you need to have 2/3. You need to have plus 17 from the other side. So they had to have all of their people plus 17 extra. They had 5 more. Okay, regardless of the count, who cares? It's not going to happen. So they brought this before the Senate, and they knew it was going to happen. They knew they didn't have the votes. They wanted to embarrass them. They wanted to make. But the thing is they wanted to get it on record. Also, all the things that they did, which was, gosh, the things that they were doing in this quote unquote impeachment trial were such a sham that, and they were so illegal. Again, everybody is afforded the opportunity. If you are an American citizen and you're being tried, especially at the higher level of being tried, they're being tried before his peers, which are actually the Senate. If the president is being impeached, you better have the goods on him. You better be able to bring the goods, okay? They had nothing, guys. Okay, it's an embarrassment to any. Okay, if you're watching a legal, I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of legal shows or anything. I've seen a couple movies, but if you're watching this was better than anything I could have ever scripted because it was so absurd. When I say it's so absurd, it's like the things that were happening in this were like, wait a second, you can't do that. Why is
and
me?
the lawyer kept pointing it out.
Okay.
He kept having to go, like, you guys didn't even address the fact that you doctored evidence. You doctored evidence and you just ignore that.
They changed everything while on the fly, okay? And also they wanted to admit the quote unquote evidence of Representative Jamie, whatever her name is, from Maryland, I think it is, because she had overheard. And again, this is innuendo. This is overheard that she was privy to a conversation that she'd overheard of Senator McCarthy talking about his interaction with the president. Okay, and that was right there. Again, there was no case. They had no case, and they brought forth the case. Okay, again, I am not a legal professional. I'm not trying to pretend like I am. But damn, there was a lot of freaking holes in their case. Okay, I've seen enough TV courtroom with Judge Judy to know what's right and what's wrong in terms of you can or can't do that. Okay, in their closing, again, I'm just a simpleton. I'm watching this with my eyes the size of saucers, and I hope you were too, thinking the same thing. Like, what the heck is going on? This is not right.
You were yelling at the TV.
I'm yelling at you guys right now. Sorry, guys. I'm not yelling at you guys.
No, you were funny. Like, it was really bothering you.
Yeah,
the whole trial
not
was
much
like,
bothers me too.
It was like so ridiculous.
Okay.
The things they were trying to get away with.
PBS is as bad as any other network. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I listened to her. She would play dumb when she knew clearly what was going on when they were trying to introduce evidence that was not part of what they had. You have to present this stuff to the other side. Again, this is one of the things that they were doing. They presented it they were giving things with zero time for the defense to review. Okay.
Yep. Something
is illegal right here. When it smells bad, it is bad. Okay. When they don't have a case, you can see their desperation. I am a cheerleader for what's right. I've been following all of this stuff that's been going on. They've been talking, again, we all know, they've been talking about impeachment before the president was even elected president. Why were they talking impeachment? Because I believe that they know that he had the goods on him. Again, this is all about conspiracy. 100% conspiracy. I have no problem saying that we talk about conspiracy because I'm not a theorist anymore. There's enough evidence out there to show that if these guys are connected, if these guys are doing and bringing this sham case before the Senate, if the House of Representatives is actually going to bring a case before the Senate, these guys should be tried for what they're trying to do because what they're trying to do is freaking wrong. It's evil, okay? You cannot do this and think you can get away with it as well, okay? If this was brought before, again, they're trying somebody, and even, let's call it parliamentary, because that's what Judy Woodruff was calling it all day. She is such a hack, by the way, if I didn't tell you that. She is such a freaking hack, and she's wrong, okay? When you lie, again, she was... You just have to watch it to believe it.
Well, it was not just her.
I never watch PBS News. Who watched that garbage? I know.
There was 3 talking heads. Well, that's just the live stream you picked. But there was 3 talking heads on there with her, and they were all saying the same exact thing. Like, clearly the president was in the wrong.
Yes.
President Trump was in the wrong.
Wow.
They always have to correct themselves.
Wish.
Former President Trump was wrong. I can't believe how many people have to correct themselves.
They all did.
They're constantly correcting themselves.
Well, why is that?
But they're but in this, the commentary was with them is there was an incredible amount of evidence against him, and it's unfortunate that the Republicans are looking past that. The talking heads are saying that. They're all saying the same thing, that it was wrong of those Republicans, that not enough Republicans would stand up against this tyranny and this, the hypocrisy was astounding. I don't know how, I don't have a good beat on how America's feeling about Trump right now. Like, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of people who have lost a lot of hope.
Yeah, I feel
but I can see how you would. Okay, I can see how somebody. People think we're crazy. We're like the last. Okay, now I'm a cheerleader.
There's still a lot of us.
I know, but there's a lot of people who weren't. I don't want to say seasoned, but they didn't understand what Q was about. Okay, the Q, the plan, the military operation. They just didn't receive enough proofs. Okay, because this is all about.
Wait, let's not get sidetracked.
But okay, I just want to say though, still, there's a lot of people who just didn't know what was going on. So when you talk about how people are feeling right now and what's going on, it's like there's a lot of people who have abandoned ship, and I can get that. Remember how many? Okay, remember the car rallies that were just happened just a few months ago. Remember how many hundreds and thousands of boats? Everybody, okay, all of these boats, all of these cars. They held stickers. They all had people wearing hats, MAGA hats. They all had flags waving. Okay, this wasn't just a dream, guys. Okay, everybody just forgot about it. Everybody's like, whoa, what just happened? It kind of snuffed everybody's dreams. It was a dream, I think.
It was like you woke up to a nightmare.
It was like, what happened? I thought we were cool. I thought everybody was like...
everything was good.
Yeah, we were riding this wave of, like, excitement, man. And it's like,
and then
what
just
happened?
Stopped. It just got cut off.
So what do you think happened? Okay, so
wait, I want to go back to the... we're getting sidetracked.
Okay,
I wanted to focus on today.
Oh, gosh, man, I'm all over.
I wanted to point out another thing is on the... First of all, I didn't check today, but I'm sure it was the same. We talked about it a couple nights ago. Chat disabled for all the live streams. They didn't want anybody. Nobody's allowed to commentate. The American people watching this, they must have had some sort of deal with every single
network
that was live streaming on, at least on YouTube, because not one of them had the chat open, which is very. If you have to shut down conversation,
that's censorship.
That's bizarre. But the other thing that really bothered me is they refused to read President Trump's statement. They just commented on his statement. They're like, well, based on his statement, I would be a little worried because he really sounds like he's planning on coming back. So I want to read his statement because that bothered me.
I could talk a lot about more, so we're jumping all over the place. Because I could talk about what was going on today. I want to talk about Judy Woodruff. I want to talk about PBS NewsHour, how much BS they're... Okay, pure BS, man. That's what you call PBS NewsHour. I'm not even kidding. I can't listen. So, sorry. Let's talk about the president. What did the president had a response after he was acquitted? So they did vote, and he was acquitted. We knew he was going to be acquitted. So this was the statement that he sent out, right?
He said, I want to first thank my team of dedicated lawyers and others for their tireless work upholding justice and defending truth. My deepest thanks as well to all of the United States senators and members of Congress who stood proudly for the Constitution we all revere and for the sacred legal principles at the heart of our country, which I love that because his lawyer pointed out that nothing in there, they didn't address the Constitution at all when they presented their case. It had nothing to do with the law, and I thought the lawyer did a great job of like pointing that out over and over.
It was all about feelings.
Yep.
I mean, look how many times he invoked. Feelings. Let's invoke. What's his name? Lewis, Congressman Lewis.
Yeah.
What else is there? I mean, it was.
Let me read. Okay,
Sorry.
so our cherished constitutional republic was founded on the impartial rule of law, the indispensable safeguard for our liberties, our rights, and our freedoms. It is a sad commentary on our times that one political party in America is given a free pass to degenerate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, excuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance, and persecute, blacklist, cancel, and suppress all people and viewpoints with which they disagree. I always have and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement, and the right of the Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate. This has This is yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No president has ever gone through anything like it, and it continues because our opponents cannot forget the almost 75 million people, the highest number ever for a sitting president who voted for us just a few short months ago. I also want to convey my gratitude to the millions of decent, hardworking, law-abiding, God and country-loving citizens who have bravely supported these important principles in these very difficult and challenging times. Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all our people. There has never been anything like it. We have so much work ahead of us, and soon we will emerge with a vision for a bright, radiant, and limitless American future. Together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. We remain one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and it's our responsibility to preserve this magnificent inheritance for our children and for generations of Americans to come. May God bless you, all of you, and may God forever bless the United States of America. I thought that was awesome.
Again, guys, you all believe that we're watching a show, don't you? Are you still there? Are you guys still there with me? I think there's a lot of people who have fallen off the bandwagon, and it's okay, because I know that this is a time of stress for many people. People are still wondering on both sides, like, how did this happen? I really do believe that both sides are going, how did
Biden win? How is he in there?
Well, there was no. I mean, was there the surge? Was this a surge of love for him?
Yeah, I think the left, deep down inside, I think they know, like, some shenanigans went on, and I think they're okay with it. That's what's so weird to me.
Are they okay with the cheating that went on at 3 o'clock in the morning?
I think a lot of them are.
I mean, all these votes showed up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it'll happen in all the swing states.
It's because they created so much fear. Fear is a powerful tool, and they made people fear Donald Trump by convincing them he was doing these horrible things. That's what their whole argument was today. You know, it still was. It still was painting him as this tyrant, and I laugh because it's like, you guys obviously don't know what the president's doing. Everybody, again, I think there's such a huge, and I hope the number's going down. I think there's a big segment of the population that's out there that still gets their news from the mainstream media. If you're doing that, I can see how you would completely be in the dark about what's going on and have an element of like, wow, that's weird. All these things are happening, but I just don't get it. You should be questioning a lot of things that are happening right now, and if you're not, let me say hi to Matt Matrix. Hi, Matt Matrix, if you're still here. You had a comment, but it looks like you retracted it. That's okay. James Gilbert. I know that name. I've seen you. How's it going?
Who's James Gilbert?
James Gilbert's been around forever. I don't know. It's one of our subscribers.
James,
but we gave him a wrench.
I know, that's why I'm
gave him a wrench because he was here a long time ago.
James, what's up, man? You have the power to, like, wrench people.
James Gilbert said, did you hear about something going on under the Washington Underground?
Oh.
Nothing, like, I haven't heard anything, like, specific recently.
Like Pizzagate?
I know, I'm like, we all know there's tunnels under there, but I don't know anything, like, if you're referencing something specific that happened in the news, I am not aware.
Maybe they are blowing up their entrances and all that stuff.
So, Brian, what do you think is next? Like,
what do I think is next with what?
With the plan. Like, what would you imagine? What are you anticipating is going to happen?
Well, there's still a lot of...
Now they got with the impeachment sham out of the way again.
Okay. That was interesting.
Hi, Eve. Hey, what's up?
Hi, Eve.
You're going to have to help us out with the news, man. Help us out with what's going on. Or what you think is coming up. We're just talking about what we anticipate happening next. So what do you anticipate, Brian?
Well, okay. I don't like to speculate. I mean, speculate like this right here in front of everybody, because it's like, I think some crazy things. You want to talk about underground in Washington? I believe that, like, for instance, there was a huge bunker that the deep state had underneath Arlington National Cemetery, and that's what was shown, the bushes, and shown Jeb by that dirty rat. What's her name? Not which Bush is her name? What's Mom Bush's name?
Barbara?
Not Barbara.
Laura.
Laura. She used to have that sweet southern little glow about her. Guess what? It's not a glow anymore, man. You got horns, okay? You are evil. So Laura, and I saw that, as well as the rest of you have seen the video of the envelopes that were handed out. And right when okay, this gets old, but I don't care. If you look at the optics of the whole entire George Herbert Walker Bush funeral, to have that happen while the casket is going in front, moving in front. So there's a camera that's capturing, and it was wide, and they cropped it up, so it was wide. They had to catch it because it was one of those shots. It was like it was going to happen once. So they had a Secret Service agent that was sitting on the end of their aisle tap W. W taps Laura. Laura gets an envelope and shows, what's Slow Wheel? What's his name? Jeb.
Slow Wheel.
So Laura flashes this card to Jeb, and on it, I believe it said, from what I was reading, from what I understood from reading in the Chans back in the day, was that their deep state bunker that was under Arlington National Cemetery was compromised, and it was shown on that piece of paper that was shown Jeb.
That was one of the theories.
That was one of the theories,
yeah.
But that's a theory that I still go. Okay, there's a shelf. If you look at the way, and this is, I mean, again, I've seen this in a video or I've read it somewhere. There's like this underground shelf under Washington D.C., and I believe they also have some crazy. They have multiple bunkers over there. So Washington D.C. besides the tunnels that run all the way down, zigzagging underneath Washington D.C., going to like under Comet Ping Pong, and the rest I don't know, but that's just me just yapping. Anyways,
Yeah.
I got sidetracked there. What's up?
Well, Donald Trump Jr. tweeted today, "Great week. Trump beats impeachment. Dems in disarray. The Lincoln Project burnt to the ground. The rhinos in the GOP establishment exposed and collapsing. Yes. Cuomo and Dems govs in freefall. The media depressed and lashing out at Dems for their impeachment fail. MAGA ascending again."
Okay. Let's talk about some of the rhinos. And when I say rhinos, they're treasonous rhinos. They're obviously showing their cards.
I can't stand Mitch. I can't stand him. Like, it's...
Mitch is bad.
Oh my gosh. So he votes on the right side. He votes the correct way. But then he says that he blames Trump. Like, he is... Oh, I can't stand
Well,
him.
that's some of the deep state. Those are some of the deep state holdovers that were left close to the president. The president purposefully did that, and also his wife. His wife is a deep state also. They also are. You were just telling me today about Nikki Haley. What were you reading?
I don't remember.
Nikki Haley's bad. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
I think she was on a meme of traitor Republicans, and so I was like, "What did she say this time?"
I believe she said that we should roll with the election results. Okay.
No, and she
Anybody
also,
who didn't want to question the results should know
she was mad about she blamed Trump for the Capitol riots too. I think it was like something like that.
Yes. So, again, there's a lot of people. I mean, you got Murkowski, you got Collins. They've always been bad. Guys, this was set up for this time. These guys are here in place to make the decisions that are going down during this. This is, again, I feel like I've seen so many Hail Marys from the other side. Like, you don't think they could do pull off another one, and then they pull out another false flag.
What's up with Lindsey Graham? He's such a freaking... He, says, the right thing. Like, when he defended Kavanaugh, that was amazing. But then he, goes against Trump. He's such I know he's compromised, but there's something going on with him because he does good things and then he does bad things. So I don't know. I mean, I think ultimately we have to not like him because he chooses the bad a lot of times. But what's up with him choosing the right thing sometimes too? I don't know. What are your feelings about him?
Well, I know that he's in some pictures in Ukraine with Ambassador Yovanovitch and with McNoname. They're in pictures. I've posted them. So he is compromised from a long time ago. These politicians that go and visit different places in the world where there's wars going on, they're there. That's their pet project. They're feeding that through the military-industrial complex. Somehow they're feeding this war, and all of the wars in the world are financed on both sides by the Rothschilds. All the banks of the world, centralized banks, they profit off of every war that's ever happened since the French Revolutionary War. Come on, guys. This is something that war is good. They say war is good for the economy. Try war is good for the Rothschilds centralized banks that they've set up worldwide. Period.
Joseph says Nikki Haley said we should never follow Trump. What? It was that bad? Wow.
Nikki Haley, nice try. We used to like you. You went up in front of the UN and you talked your talk, but you're not walking your walk.
And how annoying was it watching the left? Now the left loves police.
They love before the police. They love Mitt Romney. They love the police. They wanted to give that guy a gold badge.
And that clapping that went on for way too long.
Well, they were forcing the other side to clap because they threw in a couple words. He was like, and you got Schumer up there, Chuck Schumer.
Good old Chuck.
Well, he went up there and he goes, I want to propose that we award this the medal. And we love the cops. You know, it was kind of like,
and then Nancy Pelosi honored them today.
Are these the same people that were telling everybody to defund the cops?
Yes.
Okay, guys.
It's
the Jedi mind tricks are bizarre.
You didn't see anything.
Okay, guys. Okay. The president said go out there and fight, or whatever he said. You know, and it's like, you know what those means. Those words are specific. Okay, again.
Oh, gosh.
To draw reference to these things and to make you have to connect dots. Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing. Guys.
Well, one of the talking heads was like afterwards. She's like, I can't believe that they just said that we the Democrats, the House managers edited clips. They edited and left, you know, what Trump's full statement was, and then they did the same thing. They hyper edited all of BLM and blah blah and the politicians, and it's like it didn't. It was so stupid because you have to look at the context of what was edited, and Trump's statement of let's do it peacefully, you know, and no violence peacefully. That's what was edited.
I know, but Heidi, if you looked at their edits are really quick and short. I was laughing. I was like, wow, this is really bad.
They were just
stuff.
showing. You mean the Trump's lawyers or the other side?
The House managers. Their edits for certain things that were coming up. But they would show you like, oh, look at the president. He said this, and it was like a 3-second clip.
Yeah,
and
because they cut off the part where he said peacefully. Whereas with the other edits, no, nothing was edited. They were saying, we're gonna fight.
And this seemed like a kind of a quick trial.
It was,
but it was really, moving broadcast television for me, especially when that congresswoman, when she started. Playing that meme.
What?
What are
you talking about?
Red Nation. Whatever it is. Okay.
Every time they played this,
I
would start laughing. I'm like, they have to play this. How did the senators not laugh? It's so funny when they play
Did you know that there were volunteers on there? They're young, impressionable volunteers. And that they were so scared of the Trump cars that they said they were trying to run them off the road. Well, where's the video of that, guys? I know everybody's got a little cell phone in their pocket. The lying, the lying continues. And when you have anchors that are talking heads on TV, like Judy Woodruff of mainstream media, PBS NewsHour. That's such crap, okay? That's crap TV, any way you look at it. Just listen to her and watch her defend the crap that they were trying to convict the president of, okay? So,
Red Nation.
I know you're watching this, guys.
I
Okay.
know. That was really funny because they were playing it. Everybody had to watch the Trump flags, the trucks, just trolling the Biden bus. It's so freaking hilarious. They played it multiple times.
Yes, every single time I laughed.
It's like, oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Now again, gosh.
Joseph, any news on the Q lady who died? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Are you talking the lady that got shot? I don't know if the lady that got shot was a Q lady or not. I don't know.
I don't know that
I don't know
anybody
anything. I just know that people think that lady actually.
And I just know that they're trying to say that, okay. If you guys don't know the Proud Boys and don't have an opinion on the Proud Boys, you should, because it's like they're trying to paint the Proud Boys as these extremists, and yes, they're extremists to the defense of the good people that are out there, and they fight BLM and Antifa, who are obviously together, and they stayed. Okay, we saw these guys in Huntington Beach this past summer. They came for weeks on end. Every week it was like they'd clock in. It's Saturday, gotta clock in. They've
always wanted to have a presence.
And what did they bring with them, Heidi? They brought goggles. They brought milk. They brought gallons of milk. Why are you bringing gallons of milk to a demonstration? You know exactly what you're doing.
They didn't do that every time. That was like a couple of the big ones. No, I'm saying they would be there every week.
Well,
but
Heidi, but they brought a presence.
Yeah.
Of like now you're trying to defend them.
No,
Heidi, they were there to cause trouble. Okay.
Yes.
They were there. Okay. These are the people that are there every weekend. Are people walking around in flip flops and freaking t-shirts. Okay. Nobody's there with body armor on and shin guards and goggles and face masks and helmets. It's like, you guys are nuts, man. I hope these guys are investigated big time, because Antifa, you guys freaking organized a lot of bad stuff all over Southern California and all over the United States, okay? Antifa and Black Lives Matter, where are you guys now? You guys should.
They're mad at Joseph Biden now. Now they don't like him.
Okay, whatever reason they don't like him, I just want them to know that this is very organized. Everybody should know that how organized they are.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't just some kind of group of people that just kind of
organically
happened, okay?
came together.
And even what happened during this insurrection and the president, it's like the guys that were doing this, come on now, there's no Trump people that would be kicking in doors or breaking in windows. No, you guys weren't. I don't know who you guys were, but you guys are stupid. You guys are retarded, man. You guys are up there, and it was, again, we all know it was a setup, guys. You guys know, even if you don't think you know, deep down inside, you know there's some questions to be asked, and you should be asking them. None of us should accept what's going on, okay? And I say this because it's like, when I say none of us should accept it, it's like, open up your mind. If you can't open up your mind to collusion and government interference, quote unquote government, you need to look at what's going on, because there's elements of the government who are very corrupt, and that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to drain the swamp. That's all this whole entire thing is about, right, Heidi?
Yeah, and I cannot believe how much information keeps coming out about now the vaccines. I've watched so much. I've read and watched so many videos, and it's crazy. The vaccines are not safe. They're really not, and they admit that they're not safe. That they're still in the test phase. And I was listening to Dr. Simone Gold, I think, of the Frontline Doctors. She's being interviewed by Michelle Malkin, and she was saying, if you are a young woman that wants to have children, you should not take this vaccine. Absolutely not take the vaccine. There's no reason for you at all to take the vaccine. There's actually no reason for anyone at all to take the vaccine, because number one, it's a 99.999 sort of survival rate. And then number two, if you do get it, there's HCQ, which is almost 100% like survival rate. It's stupid. It's stupid that they're pushing the vaccines. It's quite scary. There was another video of a. Go ahead.
The problem with this whole thing, though, is everyone thinks that vaccines, and even those who don't, who believe that vaccines work, there's the problem here that everyone doesn't know is that the big pharma companies, those that distribute vaccines, are not they're not liable for anything that goes wrong. Okay, this is one of the laws that they had built into them distributing vaccines, is that they could not.
It happened in 1986.
1986. There we go. It was in 1986 that this happened.
I've never done the dig on it, but I know Dr. Wakefield. That was the movie he was making. He's the one that made Vaxxed, the documentary Vaxxed, and his second film, 1986, or the act.
Have you seen
the
Vaxxed?
act.
I've got it on DVD. If you want it and you know me and you want to borrow it, I've got it. If you don't have it, find out where Vaxxed is. It might be on YouTube. Who knows? But it's like, okay. Even the second one, we saw him speak in Dr. Wakefield. Dr. Wakefield told us about what had happened when they started finding out that there were bad batches. Okay, they have to, I want to say cook up these batches, but that's what they're basically doing when they make them in batches. And some batches are good and some are bad. So when they would distribute the batches, they would find out that, whoa, there's like 6 kids in this area who have an adverse reaction to what's going on. Died, whatever. They were all in one area, and they said they could identify.
They could connect it to the vaccine.
Is they get batches. They'd have batches, several batches made up, and they would mix them all up and then put a batch out. So that the batches that were going out weren't, this sounds so illegal, but so they weren't, the numbers weren't the same.
No, so someone died over here, and someone died in this state, and someone died in the state, and you couldn't connect it to the vaccine. So that's why they did that. They mixed up the batches.
Big pharma cannot be sued.
They're not safe. They're not safe. Vaccines.
So they've rushed through these trials. They've rushed through everything. Usually there would be trials that were done through the FDA, and that they'd be regulated by the government. But these things have all been waived, and I know that they've been sped out. And when I say we have Operation Warp Speed, and this was really, I guess, all the hurdles and all the red tape that were usually there, the obstacles that are usually in the way to slow down the process of pushing out a vaccine this fast, have been removed. Remember, Big Pharma, these companies, Merck, whoever's putting these things out, these vaccines out, they're not liable. You cannot sue them. They're not liable for anything.
The horrible thing about it is, I haven't looked it up, but this girl in this video was showing how do you look up like the deaths from COVID-19 vaccine so far, and she was showing how like there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deaths, and people were dying that day within 24 hours, within 7 days. Some were dying after the second dose. Some were dying after the first dose. And the scary thing is they were all ages. So there was people in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s and their 50s with no pre-existing conditions dying from the vaccine when they could have easily survived the COVID.
The information's out there.
It's insane. It's not on, you're not going to find it on Facebook. Facebook is one of the worst people with censorship right now when it comes to, I'm not even really on Facebook, but they are censoring every little thing. So you're not going to find, they are suppressing the stories. There's so many people and cases. I would love to share, if you just find me on Telegram. And I'm posting all this stuff. I'm like going nuts reading this information about COVID and about Bill Gates and about I went off on a little dig.
The National Institutes of Health.
Started digging on the National Institute because I was looking for numbers. I wanted to see if it was true, because there was that meme going around that showed like the death totals for the United States year by year, and how there was actually less people that died in 2020, which wouldn't make sense if you're in the middle of pandemic. You would think you would see an enormous surge in deaths. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders even posted it, and I would think she would check to see if it was accurate. But I wanted to see if that was accurate, and I could not find. I went on the CDC website, and it was really confusing. It was really difficult to find a graph that just had those simple numbers because they wanted to break it down by all these different things. Anyway, I had a hard time finding it, and then I just started looking at different articles and different things that people had said about that meme, about more, the numbers of deaths there's no difference, or it's significantly lower in 2020 than it was in 2019 or 2018, which would prove, just that alone statistic would prove that we're not in the middle of a pandemic. But I found this website, one of the first websites, of course, that comes up is USA Facts, I think that's what it was. And so I was like, oh, let's see what they say. And they said, of course, they basically said that information was false, and that there is this huge spike of deaths. Like, we have 300,000 more deaths in the United States than normal. And I was like, okay, is that accurate? Because there's this other information. And so I go and look and see at the very bottom of the website, who funds this website? Because you got to follow the money. So I look and I see, information about the website or whatever, and it leads to Steve, what's his name?
Ballmer.
Steve Ballmer. I didn't know who he was, but you knew who he was. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And then I looked him up.
He's the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. He's all over Seattle. I think he owned the
So
Seattle.
he's the 10th richest man in the world. He's multi-billionaire. That's what it said on Wikipedia anyway.
Microsoft.
And then I'm just reading his profile, and I'm like, oh, he's from Microsoft. Like, he was the CEO of Microsoft. Microsoft, Bill Gates, they're best friends. You cannot trust these billionaires. Literally control all the information. I mean,
and they try to make it look legit, and they hide everything.
Everything, and you have to look and see that this guy and this guy, Bill Gates and him, literally in his Wikipedia talked about their relationship. They went to Harvard together, they lived in the same hall together, they were in the same secret society together. Like and then they end up working for each other, and he's the one that has all these fact checking websites. And then I know another one. George Soros runs these fact checking. It's like, people. I don't know, Brian.
Happy Sunday to you if you're on the West Coast. Good Sunday to you. It's
Yep, Joseph. That's what I'm going crazy about. I feel like, I mean, since the pandemic started, I didn't believe. I was completely suspicious of it from day one. A lot of us were like, this is ridiculous. And so, but we were like definitely in the minority. People were really buying into it. People were afraid. People were wearing the mask, and I was like, why are you guys wearing the mask?
Okay.
Why is everybody complying?
How does the whole, okay, you know how, like, locally we all like, people are like, okay, wear the mask to be safe, okay? How do you get that kind of compliance? I hate the word global, but globally.
They all are on the same page. Every single big business, every website, everything you look at, every platform you go on, COVID-19 updates, COVID-19, what to do, mask at, like, little, what are they called? Little announcements about PSAs about
public
wearing a mask.
Wear a mask.
In the store, every store you go into, over the loudspeaker, like, we ask that you all wear face coverings and wash your hands, social distance. So while you're shopping, you're listening to this message over and over. And I feel like I'm reading that book, 1984. I'm like going, this is bizarre.
But this is.
You're not allowed to use the dressing rooms because of COVID-19.
Well, there's a lot of things you can't do.
It's bizarre.
The fact that we've made restaurants outside of restaurants. This is stupid.
Everything is so stupid.
Everything is so wrong, but everybody goes along with it.
And they go along with it because the authorities, Brian.
But not only do they go.
The authorities are telling us.
Not only do they go along with it, but they propagate it and they spread it and they go, I think you should be good. Everybody should be good and wear your mask. Everybody should be good. Okay. Something's wrong.
But like you said, Joseph, I recently watched a documentary on the Spanish flu in 1920. It shows the mask was not even effective then. Yes. And Dr. Fauci wrote a paper saying that more people died from bacterial pneumonia from wearing masks than they died from the Spanish flu.
In 1920, yeah.
Because that was a problem. It's not good to wear the mask. You should, especially, this is what non-doctors and medical people say. They're not paid by the government. They say you wear the mask when you're sick or when you're like working with someone that's really sick. That's when you don't wear the mask outside of that environment. It's insane. It's insane to wear a mask when you're healthy. That's not, it doesn't make sense. And I don't comply with things that don't make sense to me. If something doesn't make sense to me, I can't go along with stupidness. And it's not a law. If it was a law, it would be crazy.
We'd be arrested already.
It would be really scary. I've been watching videos of things that are happening in Australia and in the UK regarding the police coming to people's homes and arresting them for saying something on the internet about this being fake or a hoax or whatever. Like,
oh, by the way, guys, this is just a Scrabble shirt. Don't get any ideas, man. I like it. It's worth 10 points. If you can get it on triple letter and triple word, it's worth a lot.
I just feel like we're getting, like, when I look at the numbers of how many people are following this information that's coming out about COVID and about the vaccine and about masks, and I think, God, the numbers are growing. They're really starting to grow to where you feel like people are finally starting to go, yeah, they have to have that information like come their way though. And if they're only on Facebook and Twitter and all those censored platforms, they're never even going to see the other voices.
Okay. There were once upon a time voices.
Yes.
And that's what social media was good for. It really was. It was good for sharing information and sharing news. It got to a point, though, where this was not benefiting the other side. When I say the other side, everybody wants to say the left. No, it's bigger than the left. It's way bigger than the left. The globalists.
Yeah, it's
the deep state.
That's what it is at the end of the day.
When you start looking at everything and start peeling back the layers, it's really easy for us to go, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, I hate them. No. It's bigger than that. Guys, if you were bamboozled by these two, you're probably bamboozled by the UN. You're probably bamboozled by bigger elements than you could ever think. Okay, again, I want to say it's light versus dark, and it's really easy to say that, but people can't think on those terms. Okay, you guys that are out there that might have to like it.
They can't. I think it's hard.
It's cognitive dissonance, guys. Cognitive dissonance.
I think it's hard for people to wrap their minds around. Okay, if there is certain people because of their positions in this world are the most powerful people in the world, which are the people that control the media, that control our food, and that control our pharmaceuticals, and those are the most powerful people in the world, and they happen to not be in the government. They happen to control people that are in the government because they control all the wealth of the world. So if you can wrap your head around that actually does in a society, in a world where there's human beings, it's human nature, that would happen naturally. It would naturally create,
Okay. So
evil
if you can interfere with that, okay, some of the processes that have changed to help compromise people, especially in political office, is that first of all, there's endless money. You can dump money into people's campaigns, endless amounts of money, just about. You can also there's no term limits for many offices. So you have people that are sticking around for a long time. Once you got that in place, then you can find out, there's a honey trap for everyone. Everybody can be compromised. And everybody thinks they don't have a price, but guess what? Everybody's got a price, And it's like, okay, if you don't have a price, well, if you don't have a price, then for some reason, you're not going to make it to the top, okay? Because if you can't be compromised, then we don't want you. So looking towards the person who ran for the first time for political office, Donald J. Trump. he ran and he wasn't compromised. But they tried to compromise. They tried to surround him with people that were compromised, starting off with Mike Pence. Okay, he was the very first person that they were like, okay, we need to get an establishment rhino, an establishment compromised individual that we can put into place, much like LBJ. Okay, LBJ was put in to follow up right behind JFK once they took care of him. Okay, so the same people who did that, JFK, did a lot of damage all over the world, man. They're in charge of a lot of damage, including 9/11. I mean, there's a lot of things that that we believe that we've gone down the rabbit holes with, and everything seemingly is connected. Once you start looking at everything and it's like it's all connected. One of the things that we were talking about earlier was how they give the money out at the National Institutes of Health, and how that's compromised. Okay, first of all, I didn't even know this, but the National Institutes of Health is what discovered that fluoride is good for your teeth. Okay, so you got fluoride. They also discovered lithium was good for people with bipolar disorder. Okay, lithium. What's lithium?
So
It's a
good.
metal, guys. It's
Lithium in your
metal.
body.
Let's put metal in your body. Okay, let's put a metal in your body. Lithium, aluminum, barium, strontium. All those things that they put. Okay. Once you know that they're putting lithium, and lithium treats people with bipolar disorder. It calms you down. It kind of like makes you kind of, catatonic. I don't know.
Yeah.
It does. That's what it's supposed to do. People who are bipolar.
Feel anything?
Yeah. When you're having an episode, meaning you could be full of energy. You might not have slept for days. Yeah. So once you know, lithium is one of the things that they put in these chemtrails and the tankers that they fly over us and leave metal in the sky, and that can be activated. There's multiple things that they're doing with the metal that's up there. One of them is to dumb down the public. Period. Okay. Another is to control the weather. You got the HARP program, and they're able to use transmitters to affect the weather, to dry up everything. So one of the things that they're doing in California, and they're doing this worldwide, either building up storms or dissipating storms. They can build them or break them down using transmitters that they have the ability to use. So one of the things that they've been doing in California is killing all the water before it comes. So if you got a storm, they'll break it up. They'll make it look like it's something else, and no, the rain won't appear. So a lot of things are being done with aluminum and lithium. So going back to the NIH, National Institutes of Health, what was their budget last year when we were looking at that? What was the
$40 billion
guys.
of our
$40
taxpayer dollars.
Freaking dollars.
And they go to all kinds of weird research projects that none of us have any say in.
They're bleeding us, guys.
Whether we want those things to be researched.
Another thing, they're pouring millions of dollars, and everybody's gonna say, well, the American Heart and Lung Foundation, all of these foundations that are we the people are paying for. Okay, again, I don't believe a lot of this is accounted for. Okay.
What do you mean?
I just believe that there's a lot of money that's being poured out there. I think there's $40 billion. Really? $40 billion?
I know.
Do you think they're going to maintain that? Do you think these people are going to want their budget next year? Of course they are. Okay.
So they're going to spend it.
Okay. Not only are they going to spend it, but they're going to say, this is why I need to freaking have it.
And the way they spend it is they give it to universities that are their friends.
Universities.
Like, do a project on this, and we'll grant you $30 million.
Okay,
from our $40 billion.
So there's a lot of money being poured into this, okay? The Human Genome Project was one of them that they did. Okay, this happened years ago. They've already done all the DNA sequencing for the human body. You think they would have cures? Oh, they've got cures. They're sitting on cures. The National Institute, the Cancer, what is it? The Cancer Institute? I forget what it is. Okay, again, Big Pharma. I want to point the finger at Big Pharma, but I believe it's government too. The government enables Big Pharma and every other big organization, big business, Big Pharma, agriculture. They enable them by, they create these monopolies by having laws that protect them, okay? We've got a system that's built on lobbyists, that's built on pouring money in the systems, okay? If you can get rid of that soft money, then yeah, there's a lot of influence that won't be peddled anymore. So yeah, term limits and campaign finance reform are things that we can all agree on, both sides. Everybody, especially we the people, can agree on, I believe, okay? If we can get all this money that's been pouring into there, and we have these people like Justice Roberts who says that a union can act as an individual, or a company or a corporation can act as an individual, and I can donate money to any cause I want, okay? No, this stuff is all evil, and it's done to challenge we the people, okay? So, I'm talking too much. Heidi? What do you got to say?
I just wanted to revisit the because we just skipped over it, his statement where he says, "We have so much work ahead of us, and soon we will emerge with a vision for a bright, radiant, and limitless American future. Together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish." Anyway, he's clearly telling us that. I don't know. It gives me it's a lot of hopium, man. That's like.
Here's some hopium for you, Heidi. Here's some hopium for you. What was his slogan in the last election?
The best is yet to come.
No.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. No.
What?
One of his slogans. Promises made, promises kept.
Yes.
Did he ever not keep a promise that he'd made in his campaign? Are there any politicians that have not carried? Okay. He made a lot of promises.
He made everything happen, and he worked his butt off.
Promises made, promises kept. Okay, now what's the next slogan?
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. I believe that's one of the promises. That's still going to happen. Guys,
well,
have a little hope. Have a little hope.
Well, he always would say that, like, the whole time. Like, he was always saying, we're going to unleash these things. I mean, he alluded to unleashing stuff medically, didn't he?
Yes.
I feel like he did talk about that.
Yes,
like,
he talked about
medical stuff coming out.
He talked about one of the things.
I don't know, but I feel like he alluded to a lot of things like that are. That are like just Sarah stuff, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if it was just my imagination or like the free energy. I don't know what he said or how he said it, but I always got that feeling that he was implying, like, when he just the phrase "the best is yet to come," like there's a lot more to come.
I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that we're just messing with them. I believe that there's people who have
don't worry about that.
I do worry about that though, because people. I feel like they think that I have been possibly stringing them on. Come on, guys, come along for the ride. Okay, I know what I know. I would not be saying.
Yes, Brian. No. You're very sincere.
No. I know. I'm not trying to tell people.
People know that.
Guys, look in my eyes. No.
Don't worry about it, Brian.
No, but to those people who have lost hope, which is a lot of people who possibly have lost some hope. What would you suggest? Is there anything what would help them out to go, okay, because I know there's got to be somebody who still doesn't is like, come on, man, these guys are still believing what they're believing. They're still going to sell their stuff. It's like, what do you have to say to that person who might be like sitting on the fence?
About Trump?
About hope. About about keeping the faith, because that's very difficult for people. I just tell
them I still have faith. It's up to you. Like, you got to find that yourself. Like, if you don't feel at peace, you need to like read some more and pray.
Or change the channel. You got to change the Heidi channel. Change that Heidi channel. The Heidi Beta channel.
Try to tap into that God-given gift of discernment. It's a very good tool once you can harness it. It's very good.
And it's good for everyone. We've all got it. What is it? How do you discern, Heidi? How do you think a person can know if what someone is saying is true or not?
Well, it does come from reading a lot of different things. Constantly reading, and then a really big thing is people think that they have their minds open, but then they don't. I did the same thing too. I thought I was open-minded, and then I'd come up against something that challenged my beliefs again, you know. So you exercise a little bit of the cognitive dissonance. It's in levels, like where you're like, no, that can't be right, and so it's like the whole breaking it down, what you believe, and then building it back up, taking the pieces that make sense. So like for me in my head is, if I like come up against some information that doesn't jive with what my previously conceived ideas, I try to figure out where I went wrong. You know, I try to analyze it and take the new information and plug it in and go, okay, this is what's right about this and this is what's wrong about this. And you always find like logic, like patterns. When there are patterns, that's truth. Patterns equal truth. That's how you know when something is true. If there's a pattern, if you can see the pattern.
Good pattern or
and
bad
good
pattern.
Good or bad pattern. And that's what we see. That's how I can see, like through the news, I can see the patterns of I can see the puzzle. We'll call it a puzzle. But they're ultimately all the power really is consolidated at the top. And that's what's so interesting about looking into all the biggest companies in the world, where all the money is, and then seeing how these royals are connected to these royals, who are connected to these companies, who are related to these people.
Well, you skipped from. I'm sorry.
What?
Because you were talking about finding truth. I was on that, and then you went to power consolidated at the top. I was like, hey, wait a second.
Sorry, I jumped away.
Yeah.
Should we circle back?
Circle back.
I'll go ahead and circle back
to
where I was.
I
finding patterns.
Yeah,
There's patterns in truth, and that's how I find truth. Is I go, okay, that makes sense logically because that means this, which makes sense why you get this. Like it should follow a logical pattern.
Have you ever gone wrong? Have you ever been led thought something was right and then we're like,
well, sure. Yeah, of course. And that's what I'm saying is when new information comes in that challenges what I thought I understood, that's where you have to be open-minded. That's when you have to find your logical puzzle your way out of there, because you're like, okay, do I really want truth, or do I just want to be right? Do I not want to be wrong? Do I want truth, or do I just not want to be wrong about what I thought I knew?
One of the things that I've learned over time when I'm researching things, if I'm trying to find out if something is wrong or right, is a lot of times I just can't do a dig on something. Somebody tells me something and I'm like, I don't know. But I will take that away, the information, and I will sock it away, and I won't dismiss it. I won't go, no, that's ridiculous.
Just file it away.
Just file it away. I have noticed that when I do that, not that when I started opening my eyes to things that I thought were a certain way, and I was like, wow, this is not what I thought it was. When I started doing that,
and all it is just a lack of information. That is the difference between me and my next door neighbor, is a lack of information. Like, it's nothing else. It's just they haven't read as much information about certain things as you. I think that's all it is. And they're reading the wrong, we're all subjected to the fake news. Like, we can't get around it. You turn on the TV, that's what you, so we all get that. So to seek out another opinion and to be open-minded to hear another opinion is your responsibility, because we're being spoon-fed the other stuff.
Yeah.
So you take it's on you to go, okay, well, what is the other side saying? I'm just curious. You should always be curious what the arguments for everything. Like, I really thought that that vaccines were safe. I really thought the anti-vaxxers, and this was 4 years ago. 5 years ago, all my kids were vaccinated, except for my youngest one is not fully vaccinated. But I thought that was silly. Like, I was like, come on. Really? Vaccine? You think they're poisoning us? You think that they could get away with it? And then the more I allowed myself to read what people were putting out there, what brave people were putting out there to say, no, you got to look at this, you got to look at this. And the more I read and the more I talked to people, I was like, okay, how can I dismiss all this
And
legit information that's factual.
The thing is we did though for the longest time. You do, so you just dismiss
Yeah,
it.
so I finally
you
finally were like, you know what?
And you're just like, okay, I'll read what you're saying.
I think I'll read it, and then I'm like, then you want more. You're like, well, let's see if there's what else is there.
Okay. Again,
but I don't know.
Again, it really chips away at what you believe are these safety mechanisms that you have. It's like, why would Big Pharma try to mess with me?
Trust.
Why would the government try to mess with me?
People can't imagine that Big Pharma. I don't know why.
Big agriculture, GMOs.
Yeah.
Okay, GMOs
I feel like more people can wrap their head on that because people are all into eating at Mother's.
Yeah, but
eating
even the
all
processed
natural.
food. Okay,
I think they buy into that more before.
But okay. I am an owner of, say, Campbell's Soup. If I could put something, and I'm not trying to say it's just some soup company. Okay, I'm the owner of some soup company. If I knew I could put in something that would make the flavor that much better, a hook mechanism, something that I could just put in there was like, man, they're gonna need this after they take. Yeah, well, like caffeine. We know what caffeine is. Caffeine, you need caffeine. You know, it's like I'm hooked on Diet Coke. That stuff is gross. I know, not for much longer. I know it's some bad stuff. But it's like, if you could put a little mechanism in food, would you and could you? And if you could hide it from people, and if you could increase your profits, would you? Yes, I think I believe that people are doing this on a huge, grand scale, manipulating what's in the foods so that they can have.
But also, it logically makes sense when you're talking about when you find out how much money is given to Big Pharma by or how much Big Pharma gives people in our government, how much they are
lobbyists. They throw money on left and right.
But they're the top.
Yes.
They're the top.
They got lawyers. They're right there next to them. You know, it's like doctors and lawyers throwing their money around.
Yeah. So when you're talking about that kind of money, is it in the best interest to keep us on medication? Of course it is.
Well, they know. I mean, I think people are already getting. And then, are you guys wise to this? Are you guys wise to what's going on with Big Pharma? If you aren't, you should wake up to that.
Is this a boring conversation?
Okay, I'm sorry if it's.
No,
boring.
I don't know if it's boring or not. But I like telling people to look into Rockefeller. It opened my eyes, understanding. Like I said, it's just a lack of information. Just go look up the Rockefellers and start to understand how Big Pharma even came about. There was a time when the average human being relied on herbs and spices and the food and the oils, all that stuff. That is how they healed themselves, and they were healthy, and there was a time when that was the thing, and they suppressed all that information.
You have to wake up to this information. Everything, science. Everybody says science is just amazing. Okay, if you want to look at all these prizes, Nobel prizes for check them out. There's people that were totally okay. If you look up Nobel prizes for idiots, you'll find out what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of things there's a lot of quote unquote fake, false, untested quote unquote science that was pushed forward, and they even gave them Nobel prizes for them. I don't. Look it up. I don't got time for that right now.
Joseph said, with me it started with Bobby Fischer, the chess champion. The media and the establishment completely destroyed him. I don't know the story of Bobby Fischer. That's a long time ago. What is the story?
He's a chess champion. He went up
against
Kasparov.
But the media destroyed him? And that's what woke you? Is that what you're saying, Joseph? That's when you found out how fake the news was? I have to confess, I don't know the story of Bobby Fischer.
I don't think Bobbitt, though, was Q. I don't know that she was Q. The lady that was shot. I don't know
that she was, but maybe they know more than we do.
I don't know. I haven't done a dig on it. Regardless, okay, the dude with the horns, that dude's Q. I've said this already. I know I've said it, but I met him in Arizona. That dude's Q.
So Richard Grinnell tweeted, "Turn on the escalator today." What does that mean? People are excited that he tweeted that.
I don't know. What does it mean? What do they say it means?
I don't know.
Look at
the comments.
Whatever that means.
Means President Trump is coming back down the golden escalator to recapture the spotlight himself.
Oh, the escalator! Because you remember that's where he
The
started.
last time he came down the escalator, it was to be president. Oh, that's what some people. That's what people are thinking.
Since he descended down the escalator.
And Richard Grenell sounds like he might run for governor of California, which would be amazing.
Good times, guys. Hey, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. If you're out there watching us and you're hanging on to the last string of hope you've got, hold out just a little bit longer. It might be like April 1st, right, Eddie? Could be that long.
Yeah, that's what.
Could be March 4th.
That's what 107 is saying. He's saying.
But he's been saying that for a while.
He just says I don't even know who he is. But I think he's very interesting to listen to. And like I say, I file everything away because I know there are people that think 107 is nothing. They have theories about him, but then other people say other things about him. So I read it all. I read both sides, but and like I say, I take all this information, I just file it away. And what I've heard him say multiple times is by April 1st, Trump will still be our president. I don't know what that means. He says Trump will still be our president. And he basically says a lot of stuff will be done by then. It's going to be...
It's going to be good times.
It's going to be good times. But are you still here, Eve? Eve was here and she was saying she thinks something good's going to happen. I do too. How could it not? How could it not? It's like... I think we're done with all the crap.
We're still holding on, though, guys, okay? I believe good things are yet to come. The best.
Well, one of the things is February 19th. The Supreme Court will hear Sidney Powell's case on, I don't know which states, because I think there's multiple cases for different states. But it sounds like the voter fraud cases are going to be coming out. I don't know. What else? Hey, Eve, you're still here. Are you hearing that too? Like, is that like the next thing we should expect is like the voter fraud stuff coming out? I'm thinking it's going to be a bunch of things.
One thing that I'm enjoying though out of all of this is that libtards have still lost their mind on everything. That's one thing I'll say from watching PBS and watching all the talking heads and watching what's going on. It's like they are still losing their minds on Donald J. Trump. It's like, guys, don't you have to concentrate on all the good things that are happening with your Biden dude that you guys put into power? No, they're freaking out still about Donald J. Trump. We all know why. We know why. He's still the target. He's still the big name on the marquee.
Oh, look, Brian. Melania, you know how they have the office of Donald J. Trump? Mm-hmm. Melania opened one too. Office of Melania. Mrs. Melania Trump is announcing the opening of the office of Melania Trump. Please follow this account for news and updates.
Yay, you guys hear that? It's called the Office of Melania Trump at Office Melania. Is this on Twitter?
Melania.
Yes, this
That's
is Twitter.
On Twitter.
So I guess it's still on Twitter.
Probably a website too, though.
Yeah, we're sick of Twitter.
Trump has the office of Donald J. Trump, right?
Anybody still on Twitter? You guys still doing the Twitter thing? I don't think anybody's doing it anymore.
Yeah, people are still on Twitter, but it's definitely not the same. So these are the traitors. Senator Richard Burr from North Carolina, traitor. Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana, traitor. Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, traitor.